getting sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
In 1964, a gallon of milk cost 49 cents. A gallon of gasoline was only 30 cents, and 97% of all children with leukemia died. Times certainly have changed. Today, thanks in part to research funded by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, the 5-year survival rate for the most common childhood leukemia is more than 90%. We've also helped fund breakthrough treatments like targeted therapies and immunotherapy drugs. First approved by the FDA for blood cancers, these therapies are now showing promise for patients with other cancers as well. Funding more than 300 active research programs, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society needs your support. To help fund the next breakthrough, or perhaps even a cure, go to LLS.org or call 888-HELP-LLS. Go to LLS.org and help save lives, not someday, but today.
The SEC lives here. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX in Haven, Panama City. 104.3. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mahomes, a deep drop. Has time. Looks for the home run ball downfield. Knocks away and intercepted.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room.
McPherson knocks it through and the fairy tale continues.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You're now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're inside the Rip Crib Radio Room and listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Thank you guys for listening today. It's Kyle Wright, Old School. I'm David Hayes. Give us a call or text today, 850-215-6290. We'll lead it off with the NFL Players Union, or the NFL and the Players Union, agreeing to suspend COVID-19 protocols, citing decreasing spread. Teams can choose to impose their own mask policies if desired, and the memo does leave open the possibility of reverting to a level of protocols if circumstances warrant. Teams are still required, though, to comply with any state and local public health regulations. So this is a good move for the NFL at this point in time. Maybe not as much for the players and coaches as it is for the media to kind of get back in the locker room. So the NFL has been preparing clubs, hey, it's going to be kind of back to normal now. And I do wonder how some of these franchises feel about that, because for the last 2 years, they kind of they got to have their doors closed off from the snooping media. What do you guys think about this move here?
I mean, I think it's long overdue. I think this is really something that they should have done last year. How different would the playoffs have looked if we would have actually implemented this kind of system last year?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying like the wrong teams were in the Super Bowl or anything. I mean, obviously destiny is destiny, but I mean, how different do the playoffs look if Kansas City did have that first round bye and they got that extra little bit of rest because they lost Kelsey, they lost Hill to a game.
That's a good point, too. And even you can even look at it for the Titans, because if they were the number 2 seed, they would have been playing the Steelers the first game, which would have given Derrick Henry, kind of more of an off game rather than what it was going into that game against the Bengals, where it's like, hey, look, they're playing really hot football. We've got to play. We've got to play our stars rather than being able But then again, that mindset of taking a game off or whatever can absolutely bite you.
Yeah. No, I mean, so. Who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But I know that the season would have been a lot different. There are many teams that just were riddled with COVID, and it hurt them in a big way.
That's very true. Old School, any thoughts?
No.
All right.
I got tons of thoughts, but I can't say them.
All right, we're on the radio 104.3 FM. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and with our TV partner, Blab TV. Get the channel or app on a Roku streaming device or on your Fire Stick or Fire TV. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Download our new app and register all at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Playing some trivia today for your chance to win $25 to Slim Chickens, 12-pack of Buffalo Rock, and an ESPN t-shirt. Who did Darryl Strawberry try to fight at Met Spring Training on March 2nd, 1989? Who did Darryl Strawberry try to fight at a Met Spring Training? It's actually their team photo day on March 2nd, 1989. Pretty interesting there. Listen to ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3 or on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant says he's back after missing 21 NBA games. I believe they're taking on, is it the Heat tonight?
Miami, yes,
yeah,
sir.
it's in Brooklyn, so no Kyrie Irving, even though he could go watch the game as a spectator, but could not play as a NBA player due to his vaccination status. So are you excited that Durant's making his comeback tonight against the Heat?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I've wanted to see from Miami. I wanted to see it last night. Everybody, you guys know I'm a big Miami Heat fan. I wanted to see how they match up against Milwaukee, how they match up against Brooklyn when they're at full strength. And this is what I want to see. I want to see how Miami can handle Kevin Durant. Are they going to be able to bottle him up? And so for me, I'm excited to see him back just for personal reasons. And the NBA is just a little bit more fun to watch with Kevin Durant.
That's a good point, and they're an eighth seed. They're the eighth seed right now in the Eastern Conference, so they got to do some work.
I would like them to start winning and get up to that 5 or 6 range so that we don't have to see them in the first round.
Yeah, that's a tough first round draw though, right?
Yeah,
Especially when you get Kevin Durant there, and what are we considering them a big three anymore?
No.
They're considering Philly a big three though right now with Maxey, with James Harden and Joel Embiid. Like I would, that's more like a 2.5 to me.
I was going to say that's
or 2.25.
That's a good solid 2.
Yeah,
Simmons is 2.25.
Simmons is 2.25.
Most overhyped player I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, will he benefit though from not having to be the guy? You know what I mean?
Has he ever had to be the guy?
Well. Think about it. Well, all right, so this is how I think about it. With Joel Embiid, really, they've got a paint presence, but not as but who is the guy that's going to be able to work inside and outside? You know what I mean? Like James Harden, you can rely on him to hit some 3 balls for sure.
Right.
But you can't count on Ben Simmons to shoot. Whereas now he's with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving when they're on the road.
Away games. They're going to lift that before the playoffs.
Dude, well, New York City has lifted their mandate. Right? That's why I said he can go to the game unvaccinated as a spectator, but he can't go as a player because it's like they're singling the guy out up there. But we're not in the New York you know what I mean, in that area, so we don't really know what the mandate doesn't look like.
We know New York's run very well. And I'll leave it at that.
There we go. Where do you?
He's awfully silent today. So.
He is though, right?
Keep the ball rolling.
Did you take too much blood pressure medicine today?
No, I'm just really having a hard time because there's so many things that I could just lose it over, and I'm just trying to.
Give me one thing you could lose it over so we can head that direction.
Lose it. Pick a scab. Let the thin blood run through.
Just lose it. Ah!
The whole Kyrie Irving thing is just it's so ridiculous. It's so petty. It's so silly. I mean, how many other adjectives can I find?
Ridiculous.
Asinine. Let me think.
Fugazi.
Fugazi. That's a good one. Now we're going right back to bet.
But, I mean, it's just silly. And here he is. And now they've lifted all these mandates. Suddenly, happened to be the day of the,
Let's,
not saying anything there. I'm not saying there's any correlation whatsoever. Just ironic.
We're canceled.
But he still can't play? I thought they lifted the mandates. Well, I don't understand it. Is this an NBA situation, or is this a state of New York situation, or is this the city of New York? Is this the borough that they happen to play in?
It is an Empire State of Mind.
It's just silly. The whole thing is ridiculous. And Kyrie needed to, whatever.
I mean,
Dookie.
So I just the only thing
I'm just trying to think of more
adjectives to give to him.
Hot dog.
I love it.
the only thing that I wish about this particular game, because there will be other games that'll be more important, but in this particular game is I wish that KD had his legs under him a little more, because he may come out and he may not get, but
20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes or something. And understandably, he missed a lot of games. What was it? 21 games. So it would be nice for him to have had a couple, so that. And again, I understand where you're coming from as a Miami fan. You want to see him up against the best. And I'm not sure KD is going to be.
He's
really at his best.
He's not going to be, and we've seen KD rush himself back in the past.
Yeah, we don't want that.
We don't want that to happen again, and I know he doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Again.
Especially the area where he was hurt with that Achilles. So
you're talking a year and a half of one of the best all-around players that we've seen, like probably top 15 all-around best players that the NBA's ever seen, and we lost a year and a half of his prime because of rushing back from an injury.
That's a great point, and something that teams all across all major sports and not major sports as well, college, high school coaches, you know what I mean? It's like, let them get back to 100%, because if that injury reoccurs, it's twice the rehab then.
Look at what almost happened to Jalen Waddle because he rushed back.
Yeah, playing in the game against Ohio State when he really had no business playing in that game. I don't want to say no business, because I understand this too. If you know you're going to the league, right, and this is going to be your last chance to play college football and have an impact on your team winning or not winning a championship. Look at Jamison Williams right now coming out and saying, well, if I was playing, we would have won. And, of course, that made it easy for Georgia players to clap back and be like, scoreboard, bud, like that game's done, But there is that if you're an athlete and you have the chance to win a championship, knowing that you're not coming back to college next year, I can't fault him too much for that. But then how much would he fault himself had that injury been re-injured?
Yeah, that's true.
That is a great point. Kenny Pickett, speaking of NFL draft, his hands measure 8.5 inches. That's smaller than any quarterback that's currently in the National Football League. What do you guys think about this? I mean, look, Jeff Blake, Michael Vick, Cliff Kingsbury, their hands measured 8.5 inches at the combine. Then you got guys like Russ, 10.25 inches. Aaron Rodgers, 10.1 inch. Buffalo Bills, 10.1 inch. Burrow's only a half inch bigger than what Pickett's is. And then you go to the biggest hands of a quarterback is Mark Sanchez with 10.5.
That worked out.
Yeah, like old school. What was your when I told you that Mark Sanchez had the largest hands measured at the combine? What was your initial reaction to that?
Well, I don't know how he should have been able to hang onto the ball where he ran into the other guy's ass.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's the butt fumble.
We call it the booty.
the booty.
Yeah, no, I mean, this carries no weight to me. Because
it's silly.
Especially
it's
right
stupid.
after the
It's
Joe
so
Burrow
ridiculous.
thing, right?
Right. You're 24 months removed from them saying the same thing about Burrow. And who was just played in the Super Bowl?
Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
and Joe Burrow.
I think Stafford's got the baby hands too, by the way. I think.
I don't know
his hands are a little bigger.
I don't know what Stafford's hand size is, but you're probably right, though. It's not probably as big. Who would have thought that Russell Wilson, though, as small as he is, would have one of the bigger hands in the NFL?
Yeah.
But the whole point is, can you play the game?
Yeah.
He fumbled, 6 times this year?
This last year,
This past year, and 26 for his career at Pittsburgh. There's been a... But, again, we go back
actually 38 times. 38 fumbles, losing 26 of them.
All right, that's a lot of fumbles.
That's a lot of fumbles. But he was playing in cold weather.
That's the Marco Murray stuff.
That's the Marco Murray type stuff. He was playing running back.
If you're a GM, are you really not going to draft this guy?
Well, the Eagles apparently had him shoot mini basketballs into a mini hoop, and I think he only made
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5, right? So he's fallen on their draft board. And what did they have the year before? They had one of the quarterbacks play rock, paper, scissors, or one of the people that they were interested in drafting playing rock, paper, scissors.
The Eagles have listen, they took Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. They're doing something right. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Oh, man. It's just funny how these...
It's just the whole evaluation process now, how... every single thing is evaluated. It's just ridiculous. Just, can the guy play? can he play? And if he can play, okay. But, I mean, the fact that his hands are a half inch smaller than somebody else's, you're going to make a decision on your quarterback based on that? How about drafting the guy and then work him out, see if he can throw it?
That's a great point,
Go to his pro day and say, hey, hold on to this while this guy runs into you, and we'll see if you fumble.
This guy's going to hit you full speed. If you drop the ball, he's going to get in his Kia Optima, and he's going to just...
You better hold on to that ball, though, son.
It doesn't have to be like a current NFL player. You go get Terry... What was that guy? Terry
Crews?
Terry Crews.
The actor?
Yeah,
Dude, that would still hurt.
Yeah.
Remember that he was in that commercial for Staples when he was the office linebacker? I mean, well, have him run into you. See if you fumble.
Didn't Terry Crews play in the league for a little bit?
For the Rams,
Yeah, right.
Super Bowl champion. Sad news out of Stanford. Women's soccer player Caden Miles dies at the age of 22. Cause of death was not provided. Her death occurred in an on-campus residence, according to the university, but a cause of death not provided. She was a senior studying international relations and history. Meyer made 2 key saves in a penalty shootout to help Stanford win the national championship in 2019. Saquon Barkley possibly on the trade block for the Giants. I got a question for you guys at Defend Your Stance 445 on what team would be a good caller or a good fit for Saquon Barkley. Let's go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we're going to be talking with Jason Staples, some Florida State football, baby.
Let's go.
Weather forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, upper 40s and low 50s by dawn, light southwest winds. A cool start to a mild afternoon Friday, mostly sunny in mid to upper 70s, light south winds. My official sneak peek at the weekend forecast, mostly sunny in the 70s, rather breezy, especially Saturday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Offered Tire and Service Center in Callaway. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for college basketball.
Ball game!
This Saturday, the Auburn Tigers welcome the South Carolina Gamecocks to the jungle as 2 SEC powerhouses collide.
Auburn wins it!
Coverage starts at 11:30, tip-off at noon, followed by Texas at Kansas. College basketball lives here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway is your authorized Goodyear and Michelin dealer. Did you know that brake fluid absorbs moisture over time? Moisture contamination can lower your fluid's boiling point, leading to overheating and poor braking performance. Offered Tire and Service Center. We recommend having your brake fluid flushed every 2 years. Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway. Locally owned for the past 35 years and worth the drive from anywhere.
Do you have a home that you don't want anymore? We can buy it from you within 24 hours, any home, size, or condition. For over 20 years, we've been buying homes for cash and helping homeowners sell their homes immediately, with no listings or strangers walking through your home. Are you moving? Did you lose your job? Going through a divorce? Whatever the reason, if you're in a bind and you know that you need to sell your house fast, call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. We'll make you a serious cash offer to buy your home in 24 hours and let you walk away from it. No listing, no waiting. Sell any home, any size, any condition, now. Call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. Make this free call now.
800-407-6742. 800-407-6742. 800-407-6742. Again, that's 800-407-6742.
The #1 SEC call-in show is now twice as big. It's double the Paul Feinbaum Show. Weeknights starting at 6.
Okay, but also go faster.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now welcoming in Jason Staples, former coach. He's a professor, and you got to catch him on the Unconquered podcast that he does at unconqueredpodcast.com. He's also a contributor for Inside Carolina. Jason, what's going on, my man?
How's it going?
Doing great, just in the offseason of college football, but it's always exciting to talk about the Florida State Seminoles. What are your expectations for your Noles in 2022?
That's a really good question, and I think we'll have a lot better answer to what those expectations should be after this spring. I mean, it's one of those where there's so many moving pieces and so much new blood. I mean, there's a lot of new faces. There's basically what I think is 21 or 22 guys that are either transfers or early enrollees that are on campus for spring, and that when you have that many moving pieces at this stage of the year and guys that they're really hoping can come in and contribute right away, how well those guys are able to integrate, whether or not they do represent a talent upgrade at some of those spots, really does have a lot to say about what you can expect from those guys in the next year and what you can expect from the team as a whole.
Who are some of the recruits that you're expecting a lot of in 2022?
Well, I think you got to start with the transfers, and there are a few that they're proven guys. They've played elsewhere, and they've shown that they can compete at that level. Those are the first ones that you got to think about. That's Winston Wright at the slot receiver position, who was West Virginia's leading receiver and one of the top kick returners in the country. He's a guy that I think you can expect to come in and immediately raise the floor and the ceiling at that position, and be a guy that can be a dynamic player in the slot and cause some mismatches on the inside there. So that's a guy that I think you can expect immediate background and immediate upgrade from. And then Caden Miles, the center transfer from Wisconsin, the guy that he started on the defensive line, so a really good athlete, but ended up gaining extra weight, moved over to the offensive side, got banged up the last couple of years, and ultimately wasn't going to be the starter at the center position after those injuries. But he basically took all of last year to rehab and be in position to really bet on himself and potentially put himself. He's a guy that's hoping to be a draftable candidate after this year. And all the reports coming out of the spring, coming out of tour of duty drills and all of that, are that this guy, for being 310-pound area, moves so well and just really as a big body is exactly the kind of player that they've needed on the inside to anchor that center position. I think that also represents an instant upgrade there, and also allows a guy like Maurice Smith, who got banged up a lot last year, got sick at one point, bit undersized, and really shouldn't have played as early in his career as he had to. Gives you a chance to really let him be more of a spot filler and a backup center this year, while gaining some of that weight, getting his strength back. This just really improves you at two key positions on the offense right up front. So those are two guys I think that you can count on to make you better. And then the other two are, really high upside guys that you could point to for next year. And that's Johnny Wilson, the 6'6" plus. I mean, he's listed, I think, at 6'7", so 6'6" and change. 230-pound wide receiver who is a just massive one-on-one jump ball, back shoulder fade, vertical receiver, who gives them a one-on-one threat that can win just with straight-up physicality. And again, word out of tour of duty is that he, in a straight line, he's not exactly the quickest guy in the world, but you wouldn't expect from a guy that's 6'6". But the word is that his straight line speed is really impressive for that height and for that overall size, and he's a weapon as a blocker out there. That gives you another guy that, if he pans out, if he actually hits anywhere close to the ceiling that he brings to the table with that big body, again, really improves what you can do offensively. And Mike Norvell's always had a big receiver that's been a big part of his offense up until the last 2 years, where he just didn't have that option at Florida State. So that's another guy that you can look at. And then finally, Jared Verse is a guy that I would look at as an immediate contributor, the edge player, coming in and trying to fill some pretty big shoes with Jermaine Johnson from last year, coming in and being, he's a big step up. He was an elite player at Albany, but Albany is not a Power 5 program. They're not even an FBS program. But Verse looks like an NFL player already. He moves like one. He's just a raw player. And they're just hoping that they can get some level of consistency out of him because they're going to get some explosion and some explosive plays and some pass rush from him. Those are really the four guys I would expect the most from in terms of the newcomers.
I have to agree with that. Oh my goodness, what happened there? Okay, I have to agree with that. I love that you mentioned offensive line and wide receivers because to me those were the two top needs that Florida State needed, and that was to get help for Jordan Travis, which is a great segue into the next question. In today's NFL, it seems like it's going to more of a Jordan Travis style. Do you think that Jordan Travis has a chance to play in the NFL?
I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, if you look at his performance in the last 6 games that he played last year, he was in the top, I think, 12 quarterbacks in the country, depending on what metric you use, but top 12 to 15 quarterbacks in the country, just on if you look at his overall performance, and that's against teams like Florida and Boston College, and these are not teams that are just bad defensively. He played well against good teams down the stretch last year, and that's without a bunch of guys that could win one-on-ones. So if he can get a guy like Winston Wright, if he can get a guy like Johnny Wilson and Micah Pittman, another new one, and then Deuce Spann, who is maybe the most talented of the bunch, but I wouldn't expect as much from this year. You get some of that talent infusion around him, and especially at the center position, which allows him to actually get used to having a pocket, because nothing will destroy an offense faster than not being able to block at the center guard, because you can't run the ball inside, and your quarterback's going to be throwing with a guy in his lap all the time and feeling that pressure in his face. If he's able to suddenly feel like he's got a pocket and step up and do some of those things and throw to guys that are open. He showed last year. I mean, you look at how he played against Miami. He showed last year that he can play. So, a lot of it has to do with him being able to be healthy and some other factors that are beyond his control. But, I don't think it's entirely out of the question that he's going to get a look from NFL teams if, some of this stuff shakes out the way that it should with some of the guys that they're adding around it.
Well, Jason, we got the combine going on now in Indianapolis. Who would you like to see in the NFL? Who would you like to see draft Jermaine Johnson? Where do you think he would be a good fit?
Whoever's highest. I want him to make as much money as he can, because that guy has earned every penny he's going to make by his work ethic and the way that he conducted himself from the moment he stepped on the Florida State campus and through the whole draft process. I root for guys that are real pros, and he's one of them. I think anywhere that they have sort of a hybrid front. I mean, the kind of place that runs a defense like what you've got in, say, in Carolina with what they've been doing with Brian Burns. Some of that stuff would be the sort of thing that I'd like to see. But as far as an individual team, I haven't really isolated one that I'd say that would be the ideal place, because I think, frankly, that guy, as the pro that he is going to be productive in pretty much any NFL defense. It's just the way that he is. It's the way he works. It's the way he's wired.
Do you think that he could be a comp for him? Could be somebody like Micah Parsons for there at Dallas, where he was, kind of came in thinking one way, and then they discover all these other talents that he has, and became very effective as a pass rusher, but also good at defense and running backs out in the pattern.
I don't think Parsons is exactly the kind of comp that I give for him. I mean, I don't think he's as fluid as Parsons was, and Parsons is a little more explosive. I mean, Parsons is a rare athlete. Yeah. And Johnson's a little bigger athlete and does a little bit more with power. I just think they're different kinds of players. Now, the thing he does give you is he is the kind of guy who showed at Florida State that because of first of all, how hard he plays down to down, and also his straight line movement skills, that he is a guy that can do some things in the flat for you. So, I think in that sense, he is the modern kind of NFL edge that gives you enough athleticism and enough pursuit to be flexible with him to where he doesn't have to be hand down, playing, moving forward on the line of scrimmage all the time. He can do some dropping and some pass coverage and all of that. I think that skill set's there. I don't think, though, that he's quite in the Micah Parsons mold because, again, I think Parsons is a little bit leaning a little closer to the linebacker side of the kind of linebacker defensive end hybrid, while Johnson is, I think, a little closer to the defensive end side than Parsons is when you think about that hybrid role.
We saw how Florida State's season ended whiffing on an onside kick. Will there be a hyper focus on the special teams this year after the way that the season did?
Funny thing is that they focused a lot on special teams last year. So, I don't think it's just a matter of focus. I think some of it has to do with personnel. One of the things that you see is teams that are good on special teams tend to have a lot of depth, especially at linebacker and defensive back. If you've got a bunch of good safeties and linebackers and, some running backs and tight ends who can all, it's that kind of intermediate size, those guys who are really athletes and can run, and along with, good depth at defensive back with guys that can just flat out fly, then, you have more chances to be better at special teams simply because you've got bodies that can fit some of those roles. And I think Florida State, they've had some trouble in terms of just having the bodies at linebacker that they've wanted to have and some of the guys at defensive back that they've wanted to have the last few years. And so I think getting better at those spots in terms of personnel is really the most important thing in terms of getting better overall on special teams. I think that's happening. I think that's where another guy that we didn't talk about, Tatum Bethune, the transfer from UCF.
Huge.
He's a really important addition at that linebacker position, a guy that really solidifies that other linebacker spot opposite, and his name is escaping me, but he's going to be a starter on that defense, and that allows you to use another linebacker more often that you really feel good about on special teams. So, that's the sort of thing, and also adding, McCall and some of those guys who are really good athletes from the recruiting class in terms of secondary. You're adding some guys that can focus more on special teams. Some of those young guys who can really run and hit. That's where you kind of expect more of that improvement to come from, is just improving the overall baseline of the roster.
We've got a question in from our listener Barrett, who wants to know what you think the win total for Florida State will be in 2022.
That's really tough. And again, I think so much is going to, my opinion is going to be so influenced by what I see in terms of this spring and which players really show that they can play on some of these additions. I think sort of a safe over-under is about 7.5. I expect that's about where it's going to be for Vegas. Preseason is about 7.5, and I might be a little more optimistic than some in terms of looking at how the schedule shapes up and some of the guys that they brought in. I think some of those guys are really good fits for what they do. So I think if I had to guess right now based on just what I've seen and who they've got, I would go with probably 8 wins going into next year. And that's contingent on Jordan Travis staying healthy for the most critical games all year. And if Jordan Travis goes down, I think they're in pretty deep trouble. I mean, they could lose they could win as few as 5 without Travis, unless they add another quarterback that can provide some good depth.
Would that put Norvell out of a job?
5, I think it would.
Okay.
But I think it would have to be a pretty disastrous season for him not to be back. I think he's got at least another year. But you go another year without making a bowl, and I think there would be some nervousness to that that would probably have some very important people asking some pretty critical questions. But I think as long as he wins more than 6 games next year, I think he's safe. But his seat would be pretty warm the next year if it was only 6.
Jace, Jason. We appreciate it. You do a lot, and you're also an author, The Idea of Israel in Second Temple Judaism. So if you tell people where they can go find the book at, Jason.
Well, appreciate you bringing that up. You can find that book wherever fine books are sold, Amazon, bookshops.org, any of those places. Cambridge University Press as well, their website. You can go and find that anywhere. But yeah, I don't know that a ton of football people will be all as much interested in that, but if you are interested on the Judaism and Christianity front, then you may find that interesting. So thanks for mentioning it, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jason. You have a great afternoon. We're going to take a short time out, and when we get back, we'll be talking about the GOAT of GOATs.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
And I tell you, that's what it takes an attention span to be a caller on this program. You're not offering anybody anything except a phone number, and they call, and then they get in. I've been calling you for 2 years. You know how many times I have dialed this phone, and I'm finally talking to you, and all I want to say is, how about them dogs? And hang up.
Weekday evenings, 6 to 10, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
I'm Matt Glover with Aero Pest Service, and we are your family-owned and operated pest control company in Bay County since 1977. We can help you have a lawn that you can enjoy with your family. We can get rid of all the insects that destroy your parties. We can get rid of the weeds that give you anxiety, and we can fertilize your lawn and make sure that it's completely green and healthy, just the way you like it. Give us a call today at Aero Pest Service, 850-874-1900.
In 22, the thing to do is reboot the whole family at That Boot Store. With name brand Western wear for the smallest to the largest Wrangler is available at That Boot Store. Need durable name brand Carhartt work clothes at a price you can afford? Stop by That Boot Store. Next to Billboard Kia on 15th Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday 9 to 5:30. Remember Joe's motto, always keep Jesus in your new year.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What it do, baby boo? We got Kyle Wright, old school, in the building with us, and we got to ask Kyle a question. And from Drew Gorman, he wants to know.
This should be great.
Favorite game for you on FSU football schedule this coming year. He also says, go Tigers. September 4th can't come fast enough. What up, Drew?
I imagine he spelled go with the gooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like Burrow.
Yeah, Burrocks.
Yeah, Burrocks.
Yeah.
Burrocks.
What's wrong with you? It's just a joke. It's not really that serious.
He's just out of it today.
I know, dude. I can tell.
We just have to tick him off.
Dude, you got to start taking your medication. So, favorite game on the schedule? I mean, LSU is definitely the most intriguing because I think that's, like Jason Staples just said, that's going to tell the story of Florida State. I mean, because they come in, which, I mean, after Jacksonville State last year, who really knows what these other games
I wanted to ask Jason, like, is it going to be an offense? Like, you know how it kind of flip-flops for college teams, right? One year their strength is offense, the next year defense. And it was like for y'all last year, almost in a sense, game by game.
Yeah, absolutely. if he could put that together, who knows? But I think LSU is the most intriguing matchup. The second game of the year, we play a cupcake in week 1.
Duquesne.
Like I said, but who really knows? Duquesne. I think my favorite matchup next year is Clemson. It's happening. They got to come to Doak. They have not been to Doak Campbell Stadium since 2018. Same thing with Florida. Florida's right there too, but Clemson, it's time. It's time this year. Dabo, you're gonna go home crying.
If y'all beat Clemson, you get Florida at the house. Miami's on the road.
That's gonna be a tough game this year.
Yeah, because they probably are a little bit. They should be a little bit better, but they had some streakiness to them last year where they were strong at some times, especially near the end of the season.
Then they lost to a team that didn't make a bowl game.
North Carolina State, but it's better when y'all go to North Carolina State rather than when y'all host them at Doak because there's always that upset factor, right?
See, I think it's the other way around.
Is it the other way around?
Every time we go up there, we lose it.
Maybe that's what it is.
The better we are, the worse we play against North Carolina State and Boston College at that.
All right, so the most intriguing LSU, but the one you're most excited for, Clemson coming into Doak, and they kind of got quarterback problems. Is it going to be DJ Uiagalelei, or is it going to be the other guy who started to take snaps? I can't remember his name. Is like Klubin or something like that.
No, I think it's going to be the true freshman coming in, the one that
Klubin
balled out
or whatever?
in the All-American game.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see. Let's get into some go-to-goes. Where are we at with the tournament? Break it down for us. Tell us a little bit about the tournament, what's going on, and where to find it.
Dude, so go to the Right Sports Group on Facebook. That's WRIGHT, Right Sports Group. We use that for all the promotion for the Right On Sports Show and for the Afternoon Underdogs here in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Yours is a lot more. Like, I know I said mine first, but yours is a lot more. Like, I'm almost out of breath. And I know it's because I'm 300 pounds. But I'm almost
It's like Boston Tip earlier. He was like, man, I just walked up 12 steps. You're going to need to give me about 5 minutes before we can do anything.
So today's matchups was Carrie Walsh Jennings against Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray was put in last minute, bumped somebody else out. We're not going to talk about who he bumped out. But we put Sugar Ray in on what we call peer pressure. And he is losing to Carrie Walsh Jennings, 18-16 right now. I'd like to talk about that one because
go ahead.
Sugar Ray, I mean, you know a lot more about him than we would. Do you think that him being down by 2 votes to Carrie Walsh Jennings right now, do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yes and no. I mean, he had a career that was long. He fought a whole bunch of times, but he fought often.
201 total fights.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of those were well after his prime. When he was in his prime, he was fantastic. He was great. But he because that was his only way of making a living at that point. He continued to fight for years and years and years after that.
Yeah, he ended up not having a lot of money at the end of it all.
I mean, it was a difficult life for him. But he was tremendously influential on Muhammad Ali. Ali really kind of patterned his ability to stick and move and that kind of things.
And kind of be flamboyant outside of the ring as well.
Yes. Yeah. So even though, his record, and he was dynamic in the ring, but I think, his ability in the influence they had on the then Cassius Clay, who then became Muhammad Ali, I think that carries him a long way forward. Carrie Walsh, on the other hand, she's just been a stalwart in her sport, in the Olympics, and just in the sport in general for decades, seems like. I mean, she played for so long, and she's been tremendously successful. So I think this is really an interesting matchup. I think it'll be very interesting to see how it turns out.
And I get Sugar Ray Robinson. All you got to do is say 174 wins, and it's like, compared to, especially boxers of this generation, wow, you know what I'm saying? And 109 knockouts, that's twice as much, add 9 on the total wins for Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? But the thing is, the truth of the matter is here, as a goat of goats in the tournament, is when you say Mike Tyson, when you say Muhammad Ali, or you say Floyd Mayweather, those 3 guys in a goat versus goat bracket are going to, 9 times out of 10, guys in our generation, they're going to beat out Sugar Ray Robinson. And then the other thing here with Carrie Walsh is just how she kind of put volleyball, I wouldn't say put it on the map. Maybe it was already on the map, but exploded it. You know what I mean? She was just so good, and they were so dominant.
And she was good in regular volleyball, but really excelled in beach volleyball.
Yeah.
You know,
which is a fun sport to watch. I don't know if you've ever tuned into it, but I love some beach volleyball.
It's great. It's one of my favorite Olympic sports.
Yeah, it really
without a
is.
doubt.
Men and women's side of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome to watch.
I mean, it's difficult.
It's intense.
I mean, you watch them and you just think, my God, how do they do what they do?
I think I like it. I like the fact that it's just 2-on-2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a whole bunch of scrambling around and a lot of sweat flying.
Yeah.
You cannot stay on the ground long.
No.
Like when you dive for the ball. Like you got to get up.
And to move at the speed that they move in that sand, that's the part
that's impressive.
Unbelievably impressive is how strong their legs have to be able to take that, trying to move around at the speed that they do in that soft sand.
So we know that you're social media challenged.
No kidding.
So who would your vote go to out of Carrie, Walsh, Jennings, and Sugar Ray Robinson?
I would go for Carrie Walsh Jennings.
That's where my pick went as
That's
well.
what we picked as well. So I think we can go ahead and make that call, right?
Yeah, it's up to you, but yeah,
I mean,
I'm with making that call.
The vote's super close. So let's go ahead and give Carrie the win.
All right, Carrie, moving on to the round of 32. Isn't that crazy that we're saying the round of 32, starting with 72, and a daily event? A lot, man. The one yesterday, Trout and Mayweather had to have been one of the most fun just to continuously read. Yeah, no doubt. But think about some of the ones we got coming up tomorrow that we're going to tease a little bit. But that was fun to watch the comments because you got a guy who right now a lot of people consider to be the GOAT of baseball. A lot of people do in Mike Trout, but there's no postseason. He's 1 for 12 in the postseason. 1 for 12 in the postseason. In one series, they got swept out by the Royals. That was the year, I believe, that they ended up going on to win the World Series. If not, it was the year before that 2014.
Cueto, Moustakas, that's
Terrence Gore.
Yeah, Terrence Gore, yeah.
So
Terrence Gore, what a guy.
What a guy. 3-time World Series champion, man. That is something to behold.
There's your Pat Maroon of the
right
NFL, or
right
the
place
MLB.
at the right time.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, the Pat Maroon of Major League Baseball. If he wins 4, dude, I might have to get me a big rig tattoo or something like that. But then the other one that we have going on today, Andre Agassi versus.
So Agassi got.
Oh wait, never mind. Yeah.
So
sorry about that.
but you put it down correctly because there's one that we made a final decision on today. We got in our group chat between you, me, Nick Gurley, and Drew Gorman, and we said, hey, let's we just compared the numbers, and we were like, look, Djokovic belongs.
Yeah,
in this
over
conversation.
Agassi? I agree. And I asked Old School the same thing because a lot of these things that happened before my time, I got to lean on him for a little bit and then the research and then add it all together, you know? And he was saying, Andre, the window was just too short.
Right.
And the fact that he got famous for what he looked like rather than the quality of play. I mean, he had long hair. He wore blue jeans shorts. He was very flamboyant. And then he later on became a very, very good player. But at first he was just kind of a showboat type guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we put him against Serena Williams today, kind of an all tennis matchup.
Ooh.
It was destined to be that way regardless.
That's a good matchup.
It's so crazy though, just real quick because the Andre Agassi, I remember.
It's the ball headed.
Yeah, ball-headed one.
Go back and look at the young.
I am right now, and that's why I'm chuckling so much.
With a ton of controversy around him too, late in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Serena Williams was who he went against, and Serena won that one 27-5.
Wow.
Like very
over
dominant,
Djokovic.
Over Djokovic, very dominant victory. So I wonder if Agassi would have gotten any votes at all.
You have to wonder that because it was easy for me. You know what I mean? Just because of how much Serena and Venus, you could put them together and they might win the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what Serena has done and just her dominance, like these other guys are dominant for a little while, but not for that same length of what Serena has been.
By the way, we only put Serena's individual accolades in there. If we took her doubles stuff and put it in, like Venus didn't make the field here, but just because I think Serena's just, well, not I think. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, there's
Serena's
no question.
just so much more dominant. Yeah. Right. But Serena Williams is the most dominant tennis player of all time.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Not just on the female front. Like, you're talking like dominant, period.
I agree with that.
Just to go into tomorrow, I'm very envious of you guys because you guys get to talk about these. And I'm a little worried about one of them, so I'm going to do that one last. I'll be super quick. I know we're up against a break. Bo Jackson versus Steph Curry tomorrow. It's very very interesting because, like, Bo Jackson, right, without question, like, that's one you think about right away. But go watch an NBA game. Just turn on a random NBA game tonight and watch dudes pull up from anywhere at any time.
I got a story along with that. Taylor last night sitting on the couch. Taylor's my fiance. She's watching a video and she's like, holy cow. She shows me the video of Steph Curry warming up and not missing a single warm. She's like, he's really good. I'm like, yeah, he's really good.
He's incredible. So keep that in mind. And then the other one this one worries me a little bit. We got Lionel Messi versus LeBron James tomorrow. And I'm afraid that people are going to vote with their heart instead of their head.
Yeah. But could you imagine LeBron being out
in the first round?
It's
possible. And I look, there's a lot worse people to lose to in this bracket than Leo Messi.
Yeah.
Because I think Messi is incredible. He's an incredible athlete. Second greatest of all time, in my opinion, in soccer.
So you're going...
I'm a Ronaldo guy.
I'm more of a Ronaldo than Messi as well. If Messi could speak English, I think that his popularity would be so much bigger here in America. I think that's the edge that Ronaldo has on him.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm interested to see that one. I'm excited to be able to hear you guys tomorrow, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be very upset at the end of that.
Well, you know how much the vote means. Can't wait for it. Go to Goats tomorrow. We'll probably be doing it at 4:30, but that's probably going to take at least 2 segments to really dive into. All right, we're going to take a short time out. When we get back, it's time to defend your stance.
Weather forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, upper 40s and low 50s by dawn, light southwest winds. A cool start to a mild afternoon Friday, mostly sunny and mid to upper 70s, light south winds. My official sneak peek at the weekend forecast, mostly sunny in the 70s, rather breezy, especially Saturday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, best little lumber yard in Panama City and Youngstown. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
It's here. The 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app version 2.0. Now featuring ultra high fidelity. You'll feel like you're in the game. Plus more opportunities to win weekly prizes from local businesses when you click it to win it. Download the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app today at Google Play or the Apple Store.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Did you know that we have a master jeweler right here in the store? That's right, he has over 30 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within 2 business days, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into new settings and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 45 years.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5, and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Damsel in Defense presents Defend Your Stance. Got an opinion? Time to defend it. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Defend Your Stance, and it is brought to you by Emerald Coast Damsel, an independent damsel pro for Damsel in Defense. March 19th and the 20th, they'll be in the fairgrounds, or at the fairgrounds, right here in Panama City. We pity the fool who doesn't use our tool. We already answered this in the beginning opening up of the show, we were talking about Kenny Pickett and his hand size. Does that mean anything to you? Does it bother you if your team were to draft, which obviously all three of our team? Well, no, there's a chance the Buccaneers. Well, no. We still got to do a poll. After we get done with the Go to Goats tournament, it's on to a bracket for Old School's team. We're going to pick him a team by fan vote.
Oh, my goodness.
For the NFL.
Oh, we should do that.
We'll team up again and do it that way. That'll be fun. That way we can almost get all 32 teams involved.
Oh, you're going to be a Lions fan.
Yes, he is. Because at this point, when you let other people pick your team, they're not going to pick who's better suited for you.
Oh, and you can't go back on it now.
At least 1 year. We could do this every year. Like, Old School's going to have a new team in 2023. Who's it going to be?
I will go half and half on a DeAndre Swift jersey because Georgia's one of your college teams.
There you go.
That's true. That is true.
I'll do it.
There you go, man.
But you got to wear it like
I'll
every
wear
day.
it.
You got to wear it every day.
And I want you yelling, "Go Lions!"
I'll
on
go
the
half.
show.
Oh, you
I'll go
with that.
That's going to be tough.
There it is.
But so Kenny Pickett, it does not bother me at all. If the Titans were to draft him, which they're sticking with Tannehill, but if they were to draft him, I would still be pulling for him the same way. And I wouldn't think that a half inch is going to bother a guy that much.
Shouldn't.
I mean, never mind.
What was the question you were going to ask here? Because I don't see it, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, man.
My gosh.
What was it, though? Because it was in the headlines.
Great content.
Yeah, no doubt.
Our apologies.
No doubt, though, because...
Saquon.
Oh, Saquon Barkley. Yeah, what team? Okay, maybe I had that in rapid fire, but what team do you think Saquon Barkley would fit in the best with or could maybe help turn his career around at this point?
I'm going with the homer pick, which I know I do a lot, but we need a running back.
The Dolphins.
You've got to get a running back. So Saquon to Miami. I don't think the asking price is going to be too high at this point.
Yeah, right.
I think that the LA Rams just kind of showed that draft picks are a coin flip most of the time. And if you can go get established players and give them a situation where they have a chance to get better, especially with a young coach like Mike McDaniel, perhaps, who really has made a lot of running backs shine in his short time in San Francisco, give me the chance. I'll take it.
Who you like?
I mean, I like that. That was not a team that I had on my radar, but that's a really good suggestion. I was kind of thinking about my former team, the Atlanta Falcons. Because,
good place as well.
They need a running back. They
need a lot.
They need. There's so much needs there that
they need Jesus.
That's true.
Doesn't every NFL football team though?
Yeah, but.
But I mean, Patterson, Cornelius Patterson, is that his name?
Cordero
Patterson.
Yeah.
Cordero. Okay.
That's next segment.
Add Core.
Cordero.
There you go.
I like that guy. He's amazing.
It was awesome how they put him in a position to succeed. I mean, we're talking about basically what Deebo Samuel did, but they just magnified him at running back rather than trying to use him in the slot space. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't like this, and I hope it doesn't happen, but could you imagine if he went to the Kansas City Chiefs?
Cool.
In Saquon Barkley, who's
I can't.
I think that would be a 1 year situation.
1 year situation?
And because he has 1 year left on his contract, which is why it's such a low risk for both teams involved. Because I mean, really, whoever gets him is going to get. You're either going to get a year out of him, you can make him fall in love, or you could get 2 games out of him. Who knows?
What do you think about the Buccaneers? I mean, they've got
Ronald Jones. They've got Leonard Fournette.
Those are like both half-season running backs, though.
Yeah, exactly. You use one for half the season, and you use the other for the half.
You get 4 games out of each one.
Neither one of them can take it to the house.
I don't know. Lenny did.
No,
he stepped it up.
He was young, but he's not young anymore.
I feel like the last 2 years, though, especially the playoffs of the year before, and then this year when Ronald Jones went out and he was the lead guy, it was beneficial for him and the Buccaneers as well. The Buccaneers could be a landing spot, though. I mean, the thing is are they going to get the Saquon Barkley, who's been playing for the Giants, who gets injured after 3-4 games or whatever? Are you going to get a guy who maybe you hope to get 8 games out of, or a hope and a wish that you can get a full 17 out of him? But a team like the Dolphins desperately need like a guy who they can say, This is the lead back. No one can beat out Miles Gaskin.
He needs to go somewhere where they play on grass. Not on turf.
What if
Arrowhead, I believe, is grass, right?
What if he went back to Pennsylvania and went to the Philadelphia Eagles? I feel like that would be a nice spot for him.
And then you could send Miles Sanders or whatever it is you end up.
You got 3 first-round picks.
Yeah. Is he worth a first round?
Maybe a late first round.
No.
I said maybe. Maybe a late first because he's still a high draft pick. He's still like the first running back taken in that draft, and
maybe if it was like the year after his first injury, but because it's just been a continuous thing. Now he played the most games, I believe, last year that he ever has, and that was like what 9?
So yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe a second and third.
I was thinking more like a third round.
Just a third
round. Says no Saquon Barkley in Philly, please. No Saquon.
What about putting him out there and letting him, get with Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler and
the Chargers would be fun, especially if he could be behind.
Yes.
Austin Eckler.
Let him be, a special downs kind of back.
What if he didn't leave the state of he's in New Jersey because the New York Giants play in Jersey. But what if he didn't leave New York and went to the Buffalo Bills?
Oh, the Bills that wouldn't be a bad spot. And Caveman Rick says, if you like them so bad, Kyle, put them on your team.
I just tried. You're like 30 seconds late.
Yeah, he did try. The first team that he nominated was the Miami Dolphins.
Wake up, Richard.
All right, Trubisky and Jordan Love, both guys that have been on the bench for last year, right? But their values have gone in opposite directions. Trubisky's value somehow has went up by being the backup to Josh Allen, and Jordan Love continues to kind of drop a little bit. Which guy would you rather have on your squad out of Trubisky and Jordan Love? But they have to be quarterback 1.
Quarterback 1.
Yeah, starter. We got
Trubisky,
30 seconds.
Without a doubt.
Trubisky?
100% Trubisky.
And I guess it's not really that close. I'm just wondering what can turn the tide for Jordan Love. You know what I mean? Like the fact that Trubisky really didn't do anything and his value has gone up mostly just because we saw Justin Fields, who you could have argued be more talented, still fell in that Nagy offense. We've got to take a break. When we get back, it'll be time for the 5 at 5.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Sad day for baseball yesterday. We knew it was coming. I feel bad for the hardcore baseball fan because they do watch 162 games. The casual fan may tune in to see Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout, Garrett Cole pitch. But opening day, it's a big deal. It's always been a big deal.
Dan Patrick. 9 to 11 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Coram Steak and Egg, home of the world-famous Heavenly Hash, has been family-owned and operated since 1986. Open daily 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Coram Steak and Egg prides itself in offering fresh, never-frozen favorites at family-friendly prices. Come in and check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. Coram Steak and Egg at 804 South Tyndall Parkway, where you never leave hungry. Also available on DoorDash and Grubhub.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been in the Panama City area since 1989. They've been here longer than anyone else. The reasons? High quality, reasonable prices, and tremendous service. Stop by and see owner Jason Mulder and let him and his staff help you pick out the perfect building for your home or business. Just down from Harts Marine on North Highway 231. Online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. Member of the BBB. Bestway Portable Buildings. The best in portable, period.
This is where history is made. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX Lynn Haven, Panama City. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida are proud members of the Panama City Beach Chamber. We'd like to welcome the newest members to the Beach Chamber.
BNI of Northwest Florida, Central Maloney Incorporated, Hardy Custom Home Builders, LLC, Hensel Phelps, Labor Ready to Go, LLC, and Uniquely Made.
Congratulations from the area's only sports radio station, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Live from the Rib Crib Studio. Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
Always be sure to listen for the dial tone.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And now it's time for the 5 at 5. I'm David Hayes. We've got Kyle Wright, Old Schools in the building. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. Last night, 5 at 5, number 3, Auburn. I'm over here laughing at
what the hell is on TV right now?
He's wearing his mask.
All right, here, leave it alone.
Look, there's a little face in his mask. Look at the little face. Look at that.
A little pig snout on this.
All right.
Sounds like
Number
Kitty
3.
from South Park.
Yeah. Oh no.
Go
Kenny's
ahead.
dead.
Go ahead.
Number 3, Auburn, 81 over Mississippi State. It was 81-68. They played overtime, and Auburn blew them out the water in overtime. But a tough stand there for Mississippi State. Texas A&M all over Alabama by 16 points, 87-71. The last home game for the Tide at the house. LSU covered the spread, the 5.5 points that they were up against, but Arkansas gets the better of them, 77-76. The New York Rangers come back after being down 2-0 to win the game 5-3, and then the Heat giving up a lead as well to the Milwaukee Bucks, but falling 120-119. They hope to bounce back against the Nets tonight. Old School's in the lead with 9 wins, 6 losses, and 8 over-unders right. I'm at 7, 8, and 9, and Boston Tim missing today at 7, 3, and 3. So, Kyle, today, or this month actually, is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
All right, so we wanted to kind of do something a little different today. We're going to do our 5 favorite women athletes of all time in honor of Women's Month. So we're going to go around the table, start at 5, and go all the way up to 1. Let's start it off with Kyle Wright. What you got, big dog?
We were talking during the break, and I'm just going to say the name, and we'll see if it's on the same page here. Miss Paige Spurniak. Golly. Listen, she's a great golfer. I love her Instagram. She's an honorable mention.
I love her
5.
Instagram.
And that's the only one like that in this list. Everybody else is like a serious pick. Like, she's a serious pick. She's a great golfer. She's serious in my heart. And on my phone.
I was surprised when Old School when he said it. I'm like, how do you know who that is?
Yeah, dude, there ain't no golfer that don't know who Paige Spurniak is. And if you don't, go to Instagram.
Go to Instagram.
Do some research. You're welcome.
That's exactly right.
Old School said that's exactly right. Old School, what you got, my friend?
I'm going to go with a young lady that I think is just really an outstanding person. And she took a sport that was, popular, but it wasn't huge, but she's turned it to huge. And I'm going with Jenny Finch.
Great pick.
All right, well, that is a great pick. One of the best softball pitchers of all time, a lot like Montana Fouts is one of the best. There's so many girls playing at the college softball level right now that are just absolutely amazing and fun to watch. I'll go with number 5, not high in the ratings, but let's go with Cheyenne Woods.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you get a little off of the Tiger Woods family tree there. She's ranked 185 or 185th in the official money list. And she's only played 11 rounds this year to this date. So, but still, though, I mean,
she got married. She got married, so she's focusing on family at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Caveman Rick.
What did Caveman Rick say?
I'm not saying it on the air. So I'm all right.
One of the best for America back in the day. but we're not going to get into that. But I will tell you that she did win Woman of the Year a few years ago.
And I mentioned putting both of them into the Go-To Goats tournament.
All right, moving on to number 4.
All right, number 4. I've got Danny Morgan. She was a softball player at Florida State. She was an outfielder. She won 2 national championships. Went to a big tournament. It was like Florida State, Michigan, Minnesota. Maybe it wasn't Minnesota, but it was another team. But it was a big tournament, interconference tournament that they had in Tallahassee, and met Danny Morgan. Kind of fell in love with the way she played the game. I watched her make a big diving play, and I know a lot of people aren't going to know who that is, but she was an incrable athlete.
I think that's one of the key points of this particular segment is to make sure that you're researching these people. Use the research material.
I mean, it's very important that if you're not familiar with these young ladies,
especially Paige Bernier,
be sure and go and do some research on them, and I think you will be appreciative of doing that.
Yes.
Caveman with the Tanya Harding. Come on, man. Venus Williams for Professor Plum. I like that one.
Very nice.
Very good one.
Old school, we're on your number 4.
My number 4, I'm going with, we were just talking about her. She's in the tournament, Lindsay Vaughn.
Oh, yeah. Got to have Lindsay.
What a tough matchup.
After this Olympics, and tough matchup for her in the Go to Goats tournament. But her commentary in the Olympics to me was just, she was one of the best, if not the best. She just kept it real and also was able to be witty and crack jokes at the same time. Would love to be able to get Lindsay Vaughn on the line with us at some point in time and talk anything.
I would love for you to do that.
You'd want it on a Zoom call.
Yes, I would.
So I'm going to go with an Olympian as well, and Sydney Mclaughlin, who won gold in Tokyo 2020 in the 400-meter hurdles and the 4x400-meter relays. So she was a 2-time gold medalist there just in the 2020 Olympics, and she's coached by Bob Kersey. So there you go. Sydney Mclaughlin, another one that if you don't know who it is, I'm telling you, you need to get on Google, Instagram, Facebook, Sydney Mclaughlin. Number 3. Kyle.
We got some great comments. Adam Goff, Alex Morgan, Natalie Golbis. Couple of great ones.
Alex Morgan, boy, I promise you she's going to be on my list. I promise you. She is greatly gifted.
At number 3, I've got one of Pat Summitt's last players, really. Candace Parker.
Yeah.
Love Candace Parker. She just, she put... I think that she really put the women's college basketball scene, she really boosted it with her playing for Pat Summitt. That's when it really started to get popular. And really, everybody's always filled out men's brackets, but people didn't really start filling out women's brackets until Candace Parker was at Tennessee.
That's a good point.
And that's just one I wanted to point out.
I love that one.
Loved Candace. She's still playing. Baller.
Number 3.
Well, this one is a bit of a stretch, and I want to make sure that I do the best that I can to educate people as to why she was selected.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the attributes of women that I am most attracted to is that...
Yeah, that's what this is.
What?
Is that when somebody faces... they have a goal in life, and they think this is where they're going.
Okay.
Right?
I'm trying to find out where you're going right now.
I'll get there. They think they have their life plan is to achieve a certain thing, right? And then all of a sudden they discover that that's just not going to happen. But instead of falling over and being, why me and so sad or whatever, they find a way to transition, use what the skills that they have developed and transition into another role. And this young lady grew up a very talented amateur golfer. Really went to college, played a big time school, and thought that she was going to play professional golf, and then figured out she just didn't have the skill set to do that. But she found a way that she had the skill set to do something else, which is she became a broadcaster, and her name is Holly Sanders.
Another one that you really have to research. Yes. Holly Saunders, yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
Number 3 for me, I'm cheating a little bit here because I'm adding 2 of them together. Why not take the twins?
Yeah.
And Venus and Serena. two of the greatest. Serena, she might even have a chance at winning the whole Go to Goats tournament just because of how dominant she is on the court. And then the two of them together, studs, man. So I got to go with Venus and Serena Williams. We also have Raider Dennis saying Danica Patrick. She could also win a swimsuit contest, he says. Professor Plum says Florence Joyner Griffith or Griffin. So Flojo.
I like it.
Got Flojo on there? All right, number 2.
I'm going to keep it going with Serena here. She's on today's Go to the Goats tournament. She's really been spotlighted a lot on today's show, which I really love that because she deserves it. Serena Williams, man, how can you not have fun watching somebody dominate the sport like she has done over the years? Her and her sister especially, but her as an individual. If you haven't seen King Richard, also very good movie.
Yeah, I need to watch that one.
Go watch it. Will Smith is just awesome.
Have you seen the new Bel Air?
No, I haven't. Go watch it.
You've seen it? You've got HBO Max?
No, but I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually thoroughly impressed with it. They did a real good job of
streamed it.
Oh, they did a real good job of making it its own thing while still having heavy ties to the original. So I thought so far I think 4 or 5 episodes in,
I didn't get that far.
I've enjoyed it.
I'll check it out. I love the original, of course.
Number 2.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
This is, again, another young lady who went in one particular direction, didn't quite get there, but still had an amazing career and is still relevant today. And her name is Anna Kornikova.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's all you got on it? You're just going to leave it at that?
I'm going to leave it right there. Just, it's some great research material. Just go out there, take the time, and go ahead and research that one.
All right, couple of texts in. We got Danica Patrick, Anna Kornikova, Carly Lloyd from Caveman Rick. That's a nice really good one. Justin Lassiter chiming in with Abby Steiner. He says, if you don't know, now you know. I just found out myself. So, yes, absolutely. Abby Steiner is another one. You need to go research her stats and statistics. Number 2 for me, I'm taking it back to the childhood, y'all. I'm taking it to the ice, and I'm not talking hockey. I'm talking figure skating. Tara Lipinski, when I was 6 years old, she won the 1998 Olympic gold medal, and I was like, 6, 7 years old, whatever at the time, but I had just the biggest crush on her, and she won the gold medal, and that was exciting. So, Tara Lipinski.
I like it. So we go on number 1.
Number 1.
The top of the list. Listen, no secret. I'm a wrestling fan.
What, you finding out about Tara Lipinski?
No, I was looking for someone else.
Okay.
He's getting a new number 1 because I took his. I'm guessing with Paige. Did I take Paige from number 1?
Paige.
Oh, my bad. Get a new book. All right, I'm a wrestling fan, no secret. So Lita's at the top of my list.
Oh, there's so many girls from the WWE that are so athletic and gifted that you can put them in there.
I just like Lita because she brought an extreme aspect to the women's division, and in a time where women's wrestling was kind of a joke to most people, like it's not as revered as it is now.
Right.
She was really like a diamond in the rough.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually she was beautiful, but she was also really good.
And man, what about that? Who was it? Lita and Edge?
Yeah, go look up Lita Edge. That's all you have to type.
Yeah, just type that in, and that'll be. I cannot believe that was live TV when we were probably in our teens at that point, though. When it was Lita and Edge.
No, China is not my number 1.
China is not your number 1. Come on, you were able to see the most of her.
Maybe Paige. Paige is up there. Go ahead.
Oh, you ready for me?
Yeah.
So I'm old school, so I kind of went old school for my number 1.
Mona Lisa.
No, I went back, and when I was a young man, there was a young tennis star that just captivated everybody, and she was the person that kind of introduced the two-handed backhand to the ladies' game.
Right when tennis was invented, actually.
Well, they were still using.
You probably got a couple of two-handed backhands in the day.
Yeah, probably. They were still using wooden rackets at that point, but just go check out a young. Make sure you put in.
I don't know if you want people to be putting that into their search engine.
Younger Chris Everett.
Younger, that's a good. That's a good way to put it. That's actually that's my aunt's favorite tennis player of all time, and she had the chance to meet her at is it the U.S. Open that's held in New York every year? Yeah, so she got to. I think she goes to it every single year, and she got to meet Chrissy Everett. So that's actually a really good one on school. My number one. What you got? Oh, we're waiting on it.
If anybody wanted to prosecute you in this segment, you have said that you illegally streamed a show. And you're also telling people to Google young.
He never said illegally. He just said he streamed it.
Okay, he didn't have to. The eyes and the hair said it all.
I'm going to the U.S. national women's team. Alex Morgan, man.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Because one of the things, too, and you know how it is with athletes these days, like you follow them on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they share little tidbits of their life, and she just had a kid the other day. It's been a while now, but so Alex Morgan, man, she was kind of one of the level-headed ones. Well, I don't want to say level. They were fighting for something, the U.S. national women's team were.
She was a leader.
But she was a leader on that team, and on the field and off the field. So I got to have Alex Morgan as my number one for the top 5 favorite women athletes of all time, and that was in honor of Women's Month. My dog of the day today is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies' Ja Morant getting 2 points.
I thought we were going in a different direction there.
Oh, no.
DMX, baby.
I got the Memphis Grizzlies getting 2 on the road against the Boston Celtics. The Grizzlies are 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, so let's keep it going. We're going to be right back with some more topics, probably revisiting Defend Your Stance.
Weather forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, upper 40s and low 50s by dawn, light southwest winds. A cool start to a mild afternoon Friday, mostly sunny and mid to upper 70s, light south winds. My official sneak peek at the weekend forecast, mostly sunny in the 70s, rather breezy, especially Saturday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Offord Tire and Service Center in Callaway. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
If you miss the Coach Hale Show today on ESPN Northwest Florida, you miss this.
And I'll be honest with you, Florida State, it just doesn't seem right when Florida and Florida State aren't powerhouses in college football. It really doesn't.
You know, I want Florida State to be good. I want Miami to be good. But until they commit and do some things with their athletic facilities, they're going to stay behind the 8 ball.
Weekday mornings 7 to 9 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Have you been to Gin Gin Super King Buffet? It's not your average Gin Gin. Well, here's what you're missing. Gin Gin Super King Buffet has competitive pricing, a great selection, extensive buffet options perfect for family dining. Menu options also include top quality seafood, hibachi and sushi bar, or select their mouth-watering crab legs by order. Bring the family out to Gin Gin Super King Buffet, located next to Wonderworks at 9802 Front Beach Road on Panama City Beach.
Golf Plus is your premier golf shop on the Gulf Coast. Not a big box or a chain store, but a local store with golf experts to serve you. An amazing array of demo and fitting products, plus a professional repair shop that can handle anything from a basic re-grip to a full set of re-shafts and everything in between. Golf Plus has locations in Dothan and Panama City Beach to serve you. Come see them today for all your golf needs. Located next to Firefly at the Shops at Edgewater. Call 850-249-2726.
Are you concerned about safety when you travel? Emerald Coast Damsel specializes in self-protection. They offer a full line of safety products like men's and women's RFID wallets and concealed carry for purses. Lifetime incidental replacement plan and manufacturer's warranty on most items. Give the gift of self-protection and contact Michelle and Rick today, 850-358-2810, or visit their website at emeraldcoastdamsel.com. Emerald Coast Damsel, independent damsel pro for damsel and defense.
Live from the Rib Crib Studio. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here we go. Back in the Rib Crib Radio Room, and you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got Kyle Wright, old school, and I'm David Hayes. Would you rather have Robert Horry or Charles Barkley's career? Now, give me a second here, and I can pull these up. The career statistics, almost like a little bit of a goat of goats. But really, even though Robert Horry is the reason that we can sit here and say, yeah, rings, like Bill Russell almost in a sense, rings don't necessarily 100% constitute your GOAT status, right? Because what's Robert got? Big Shot Bob, 7 of them, I believe, right?
Well, listen, I think when you talk about this conversation, it's interesting because you have to take post-play into consideration. And I think Charles Barkley is part of one of the most entertaining shows on television with Inside the NBA. And I think I would rather have Charles Barkley's full-time life and career.
Everything.
Yeah. And his golf swing is, it's terrible, but he hits the ball kind of well.
It's gotten better, right?
Gotten better.
That's true. So for Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champion, 7.0 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game. Charles Barkley, 93 NBA MVP, 11-time NBA All-Star, 22.1 points per game, 11.7 rebounds per game, but 0 NBA championships. So would you rather win 7 times with you, which is the ultimate goal, or would you rather be the MVP of the league, play a lot, get a lot of points, and just not have that? But then also on the flip side, post-career, you can make the argument, right? Charles Barkley's had a heck of a run. Which guy you picking? Which one would you rather be?
Oh, there's no doubt. This is an easy one for me. I'm taking the round mound to rebound, and then he turned it into a career of broadcasting, and he's played golf all over the world. He's famous. He makes a ton of money. And he got to eat whatever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to. So, what a great life.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
I think that, not terrible. I think I would have to go with Barkley, too. But see, here's the thing, guys. Robert Horry went to Alabama. Charles Barkley went to Auburn. I don't want to go to Auburn. I'll go with Charles, though, just because it would be fun to be inside the NBA. And then also, he was talking on a podcast with Draymond Green. I wanted to bring this up yesterday for What If Wednesday. Kobe Bryant was this close from joining inside the NBA. The reason he didn't want to do it is because he didn't want to have to do the promotional things that come along with being on Inside the NBA radio and other television appearances. So what he ended up doing instead, you remember this, ESPN Plus, the detail like Peyton Manning and stuff, that's what Kobe did instead, so that he just had to worry about that and he could talk about interesting players to him.
Would he have been a 5th member, or would he have been Shaq? Because I think the dynamic between Shaq and Chuck is way too good, and I think that
but you add in Kobe.
Right, if it's an ad, then absolutely. But if it's a replace Shaq...
No, there's no way you can replace Shaq.
Well, but was this at the time? Because they kind of would have been around the same exact... No, it would have been late.
Yeah.
So it would have been a 5th member. Had to have been.
Or taken over. But Kenny's so beloved.
You can't replace Kenny either. No way.
Kenny the Jet is... No.
If it's
and that would have been too many mouths to feed, though, right? Unless they had him coming in as I don't know. That would have been tough.
That's tough. Like, if it's a replace, then absolutely not. But if it's a
just an addition,
a 5th member, maybe. Maybe like Dwayne Wade kind of does every now and
again.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm. Yeah, it just kind of comes in every now and again. I think that would be cool. Draymond Green is the first player who's ever actively in the NBA and still doing some things with inside the NBA, which I find that really cool.
He's entertaining.
Draymond has definitely grown on me over the years, and I don't mean that as a player, I mean that as a personality, because he's got one of those ones that is kind of polarizing, right? You can either be on his side or be against him, but just over the time, it's like, all right, some of the things that he says it almost just to intentionally get under people's skin, and people like that are awesome. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
I do it too.
Right. My man. Let's see here. Rule changes that Major League Baseball wants to implement. Banning shifts, a pitch clock, and oversized bases. They cannot begin before the 2024 season unless the union agrees. MLB wants the rules to go into effect in 2023. That's even if we have a 2022 season. Which one of these out of the 3 do you think would work best? And I mean for fans of the game. Bigger bags, okay, that's a health thing, right? A pitch clock, okay, speed it up a little bit. Shifts, there's a lot of people out there with problems with the shift. What do you got, Kyle?
I say the pitch clock, because the rule is going to be for the batter too, where you just can't step out after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a pitch clock is a good, interesting way to speed the game up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been used in minor league systems a couple times, and it's proven effective. Why not? Why not have a pitch clock?
I think it's used all the way up. I'm like 99% positive AA, but I think that they utilize it in AAA as well.
Yeah, I think so. And why not?
Well, I like that. I mean, that's the only one of those that I would even consider liking.
I don't know if I would really notice that much oversized bases.
No, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Is it?
Oversized bases, yes.
Because they have banning shifts on here. You think that's numbered banning shifts?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What infuriates you the most about bigger bases?
That's stupid. Why do they need bigger bases?
Because of the times where the first baseman has to lean backwards for a ball, and then next thing you know, you got two guys running into each other.
No, that's part of fielding your position.
Well, I do think first base could be an interesting situation. I love the way it's done in slow pitch softball.
Yeah, you got the outside bag.
I think that's that would also help because you could put in today's generation with today's technology, you could literally put computer systems in it to see like which one really took the impact first.
Yeah, and if you
the
have
vibration from the ball,
man, I don't like that, but I do. At the same time, I don't like the look of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that we use it in softball because it saves people's ankles, no doubt about it.
We're amateurs.
Exactly, 100%. But what I'm saying is it would take a little bit to get used to, but the fact of the matter is it's going to be harder with one bag for them to have that kind of technology, right? Because, I mean, maybe the pressure points and all that stuff, but with two separate bags like that, not only the visuals will help you out, but the technology inside of the bag, which would save time in the long run.
And by the way, that's not me saying I like it. That's me trying to find something good about it.
Silver linings. I can't believe you think this is the stupidest one on here, though.
Oh, without a doubt, it's the stupidest one.
Worse than banning shifts?
Yeah, I you know, the shifts. I used to have a real issue with the shifts.
Right.
Now I don't.
Learn how to bunt.
I cannot believe that one, banning the shift, is gaining so much traction. Like I saw someone today post a video of Manny Machado, who normally plays third or shortstop, right? And he was, third when it comes to playing with the Padres because you got Tatis over there, but when he's injured,
he's a better shortstop than Tatis. He won't be. Machado will not be a Padre next year after that dugout scuffle.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Anyways,
irrelevant. Sorry.
No doubt. But the video was they were playing the shift, and Machado goes out to kind of shallow right field, and the ball's hit off the wall. The right fielder can't get it, but Machado's right there. Well, my thing is like these guys use these analytics. They get the numbers, and they put what they perceive to be the best position to stop the ball. If you've got a left-handed hitter up there and he pulls 70% of the time, you're going to play him to pull the ball. All right?
What do we do in softball?
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's no different.
It's no different at all. So I really don't see the problem with it. Like, and if it's that big of a deal, don't catch the ball when you bunt it. Just bunt it regular. That thing's going to stream down the third base line if that's your problem. Or you have the argument, Caveman Rick, they're professional hitters. They should be able to hit the ball. And I'm on the fence about that. Like, you could work on something like that, but at the end of the day, the game of baseball is played for you to hit the ball where it's pitched. And if it's pitched on the outside corner and you're trying to inside out that thing, you're going to have problems with that all night long.
See, this is the argument that I love that's come up multiple times in the go-to-goats debate, like with baseball players. Like, you could put somebody that's never touched a sport, never played a sport, and put them on a three-point line. Hey, take 20 shots. There's a chance they're probably going to make one.
They can make 5.
They can make 5 of them.
Yeah.
Same thing. Here, I'm going to throw you this football. Yeah, you think that's going to happen with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball? They're not going to hit one. They're not, because I've tried.
Yeah. You could take Ben Joyce, who's a pitcher for Tennessee, who was touching triple digits, 10 out of 15 pitches, touched 103, but his changeup's at 90. He could throw you a changeup. You're not
so just hit the ball doesn't work for me.
No, it just doesn't. I'm sorry, but even at the high school level, and then each level that you increase, I'm talking D3, D2, D1, single A, triple or double A, triple A.
Dude,
it gets so insanely tough at each of those levels.
We got guys that get paid to play slow pitch softball, and I know this is the third time I brought up slow pitch softball, and I don't mean to drive that home, but we have guys that still can't hit it opposite field in slow pitch, that are getting paid to play.
Yeah.
That still struggle with that. You want these dudes to do it on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball or a 85-mile-an-hour slider?
Here's some good points from Caveman. Let's tell NFL defenses or Florida State, they can't play prevent defense. Sorry, he didn't say the FSU part.
No,
I did. I added
did.
that in. And then tell an NHL team that they can't play the neutral zone trap. Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about eliminating very basic, you can't say that the shift is a basic thing. And I get people's problems with it, but the thing is it makes sense though from like an athletic point of view. Like you said, they use it in softball. Now I don't want to see little kids out here at Little League emulating Major League Baseball teams and playing the shift. No, because those kids are spraying it everywhere, right? They're getting to the fundamentals of the game. So yeah, in youth baseball, maybe we shouldn't be using the shift. But then you talk about playing in rec league in a certain area, but then you get to these 10-year-old kids who are playing travel ball and stuff. If those kids are good enough and they are hitting the ball where the ball's pitched and going the way that the ball's pitched with that direction, why not use the shift? I can't get what everyone's frustration with this is. It's not, if there's anything on this list that is going to be beneficial to what they need to work on the most as far as the fans' perspective, which is the time of game. No one really, like the thing about baseball, me and Miles is a new employee of here. We were talking about this earlier. And the thing is 3.5 hours is a long time. You could put that game on, watch the first inning, and then it's just background noise in a sense for you know what I'm saying? Because there's so little of action in that time that you can keep up with the game just by listening to it audibly. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or throw it on the radio. That's what Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, need to be working on is how to speed it up but not take away from the beauty of baseball, the chess match of baseball. All right, we're going to... Old School's giving me a blank look.
I was letting him go, but he's...
No, I'm going back to the damn basics. I mean, why do we... These are professional baseball players. And we're going to give they can't step on that base, so we're going to make it, 6 inches bigger around... What?
I don't know what the exact dimensions
are. Thing I have ever heard.
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
Dimensions.
I mean,
it goes back to the hand. 8.5 inches, 7 inches. Come on, man. What's the difference? Do tell. That's what she said. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for college basketball. Ball game! This Saturday, the Auburn Tigers welcome the South Carolina Gamecocks to the jungle as two SEC powerhouses collide. Auburn wins it! Coverage starts at 11:30, tip-off at noon, followed by Texas at Kansas. College basketball lives here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
At Slim Chickens, craft means something. Craft means bacon. And oh, so crispy. Kraft means a good cayenne kick and all-natural buttermilk marinated, made fresh, perfectly fried chicken, all served on toasted brioche buns. At Slim Chickens, Kraft means quality. And for a limited time, try our new Memphis-style barbecue chicken sandwich. Try Slim's Kraft sandwiches today. Slim Chickens.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Bayonets ready. Take aim and fire. No, you're not in a World War I time warp. You're changing your glove compartment bulb. When I come back, I'll tell you how to hit the bullseye.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Don't get up in arms about burned out glove compartment bulbs. You can relight the way in these easy steps. With protected hand, grab your bayonet bulb, that is. This little light is so called because of the protrusion at its base that receives electrical current. Now push in slightly and turn counterclockwise to remove. To install new bulb, line up bayonet with socket slot, ease in, and turn clockwise. Now relax. You've won the battle of the bulb without a single casualty. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
Live from the Rib Crib studio. They said it couldn't be done. The Afternoon Underdogs are live.
They say it can't be done.
Are we going to do what they say can't be done?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? Welcome back in. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with old school Kyle Wright with the Right On Sports Show. Make sure you get into the Right Sports group. That's right with a W, so that you can keep up with our Goat of Goats tournament. Who's your favorite? This, it's a not a strong class. Is weak the right word? It's a weak quarterback class.
Yeah.
But wide receivers are kind of deep this year, in a sense. Who's your favorite wide receiver in the 2022 NFL Draft?
Man, that's one that I did not do any research on, I'm going to admit.
Okay,
but Jamison Williams from Alabama.
See, dadgummit.
Yeah, sorry, I went first for that reason. No, I just think you look at the success that, outside of Henry Ruggs maybe, that Alabama receivers have had in the NFL, and I mean, they've been doing great. I mean, even Devontae Smith with their quarterback dilemma over there, like, I don't think there's really any dilemma, but with Jalen Hurts not being a thrower, like a true passing quarterback, broke the Eagles' all-time rookie record. And Alabama receivers have been great in the league.
I'm just wondering how those ACL injuries for Mechie and Jamison Williams are going to affect them in that first year. I'm leaning towards one of those. You got Drake London out of USC. What could George Pickens do? That's one to watch because he's already came back from the injury.
Pickens is one that I think is extremely overhyped.
You think he's overhyped?
I think so.
Okay.
What did he do at Georgia?
He was injured.
Bingo.
But when he came in, he kind of solidified himself as that number one guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Pickens has tremendous upside for the NFL game.
I'm just naming off names now. I'm not giving you who my favorite wide. I'm actually going to go, and this is crazy, but I'm going to go with one of the Ohio State guys because if it's not an Alabama guy, or Ohio State put some decent wide receivers in the league, and you got two of them in Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave this year. And so Olave is probably the hot one, but I'm interested, or the hotter item, the hotter commodity right now, but I think I'm more interested in seeing what Garrett Wilson will do here at this next level. What's wrong?
I'm sitting here talking in the headlines about Kevin Durant. Like, I can't wait to see this game tonight.
He's not playing?
Kevin Durant is, but Kyle Lowry, P.J. Tucker, and Jimmy Butler are out for the Miami Heat tonight.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Just a little late there, but
no, sorry. I mean, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer.
Well, it is, but it also, how many more matchups, and I know this is off the top of the head, but how many more matchups do you think there are with the Nets? Because it could be one of those things, Georgia, South Carolina not showing everything that they got.
I think they've got one more after this.
All right. So, man, that's tough.
Dang it.
Let's see. Jimmy G to the Steelers, or where do you like to see Jimmy Garoppolo next? Old school.
Wow. I mean, I still think Deshaun Watson needs to go to the Steelers. I just think with him and Mike Tomlin, that's the only way he's going to resurrect his career. So,
and never mind.
But Jimmy G, maybe. What about the Saints? Maybe he needs to go to the Saints.
I think the Saints is a good scenario. I just think the problem with New Orleans right now is they would have to pay him like $18 an hour. they don't got money. They have no money.
Yeah, that's a fact. What do you think? Jimmy G to where?
New England?
I'll replace the Mac Jones after 1 year. Jimmy G to this man. I honestly at this point in time, because of how hyped we got right about, oh man, quarterbacks could be one of those NBA type years where quarterbacks are just changing. I would not be surprised to see Jimmy G in a San Francisco 49er uniform next year.
I think that's interesting, but I'm going to go Indianapolis.
Oh, love it. Carson to Tampa Bay then?
Maybe. I think that's a good fit for Carson Wentz. Some good weapons down there to throw the ball to. And I just think Indy needs that, not only the skill set of Jimmy Garoppolo, because I don't think he's going to put, he's not going to throw 400 yards, but I think they could use the leadership of Jimmy G. And I think that would instantly take a young team like Indianapolis and really put them over the top. But I said the same about Carson Wentz, and here we are.
Well, Colin Cowherd is still really high on Carson Wentz, and it really comes down to the 27-7, right? 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But it's like Tannehill, who threw 19 interceptions, well more than 7 this year, but it's the same way for both of those guys. In the biggest opportunity or the biggest games of the year, you lay down and turn the ball over. Like Carson Wentz going into Week 18, the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, were on the road, did not turn the ball over on the road this year or last year. But then in that game, he turns it over twice, fumble and an interception. You can't have those because that was a win and you're in situation.
That was a terrible performance by just the entire Indianapolis Colts team. Jonathan Taylor all of a sudden just forgot how to be a running back. Yeah. Frank Reich forgot how to coach. That was a terrible, terrible situation. Rapid fire. Get to them quick. Sorry.
All right. No, you're good.
Kid show.
Let's see here. Over or under 29.5 games canceled by Major League Baseball. I'll go over.
Over.
Okay, I'm confused.
Over or under 29.5 games total per schedule, not 29 because that we're already past that. Over. At 6 games times 30 teams, that's a lot. Well, that would only be 15 games times 6, so still over.
Still way over.
Let's see which quarterback that was a rookie last year will have the biggest jump in year 2. So it doesn't leave you a whole bunch of options, but
rookie quarterback?
Yeah.
Another tough one. Golly. Well, it's gonna.
I guess it really just comes down to Mac Jones.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be.
But will he jump forward or could he slide back because he had I don't want to say such an impressive year because it wasn't crazy impressive. It was just I think one of the biggest things on it was that they jumped from not being a playoff team to being a playoff team.
I say who has to be Trey Lance. I mean, you're going to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, who's taken you to the Super Bowl once and to the NFC Championship another time. You got some pressure to come out and perform, kid. You better jump.
That's a good point. You're just going to agree with that answer?
That's a good, makes total sense. I mean, the whole thing is you gave up so much capital to get him.
Yeah.
That it's, and if Jimmy G, obviously he knows he's out, so Trey Lance better be ready.
All right, I got 2 more for you. What would you pay Aaron Donald? What's he worth?
Blank check.
A blank check? That's what I was gonna. That was not my exact answer, but pretty much like what you want, Aaron. Because in a sense, I can't say that you're more important than the quarterback, but for that team,
you think LA Rams
get there without that defensive line?
Like I'm just saying, like if you ask somebody to name a player from the LA Rams, they might say Cooper Kupp. They're probably going to say Aaron Donald.
Yeah, no doubt. Cooper Kupp had an amazing season. There's no doubt about that. But can you replace the production that Aaron Donald brings? Just because not even when he's not getting a sack, he's still opening up opportunities for Leonard Floyd and for Von Miller.
Smell a terrible take coming. Go ahead.
Shiitake mushroom.
I would pay him as much as I could pay him and afford to still have somebody on the other end.
Well, that's what I'm saying, a blank check. Like, you name it. Like, if you want a Patrick Mahomes deal, and if you want to be the only good player on the team,
then we're done.
We're done.
We're done here.
We saw it in the Super Bowl, and the fact that for the first 3 quarters he was invisible, and then all of a sudden when they made a defensive adjustment, went in. So my point is that you can't just give him a blank check because if you have the ability to double team and design a defense to stop him, you can.
So you're telling me he shouldn't get paid because he came through when it mattered most in the 4th quarter?
I'm saying
clarification.
I'm just twisting this here because this is what it sounds like. Like he's a non-existent for the first 3 quarters, which are not as important as the 4th quarter in a very close game.
All I'm saying is in all of the playoff games, there was discussion before the fourth quarter that he was somewhat invisible, and I think we otherwise we got clowny again.
Scammer.
No, it's just somebody on the regular line, not line one. Old school, this is from Professor Plum, and I got one more after this. Would you sanction bigger bases if home plate was reduced to the size of a postage stamp? Ball.
That's the Angel Hernandez strike zone, baby.
All right, last
CB Buckner. I don't know where the plate is.
All right, last one. You can plead the fifth on this one if you want to. Should Leah Thomas be allowed to swim in the 2024 Olympics?
My answer to that would be, who is Leah Thomas? And then there it is.
All right.
I'm obviously out of it.
I can tell you who it is.
Oh.
And
not touching
it. What
I'm just saying, as in
she is.
She identifies as the she.
Okay. Let me just say this. It is the end of women's sports.
If it continues to go like that.
It'll be the end of amateur women's sports. And maybe even professional sports.
Oh, man. Tough stuff there from old school. My thing is 430 something as a man and number one as a woman. Like, to me, that right there. And then when you beat someone in a race by 7 seconds, which is essentially the length of a pool, don't you think you've got to rethink something like that? I don't know, man. Tough situation, but we're going to come back with some great situations, and that's high school sports. We'll be right back.
Weather forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, upper 40s and low 50s by dawn, light southwest winds. A cool start to a mild afternoon Friday, mostly sunny and mid to upper 70s, light south winds. My official sneak peek at the weekend forecast, mostly sunny in the 70s, rather breezy, especially Saturday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, best little lumber yard in Panama City and Youngstown. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Bruce Arians, coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, said this about his couple years with Tom Brady. He goes, they were unbelievable. I got to say, Tom got all the credit. A lot of other guys had a hand in the pile. Wasn't all Tom Brady. Whoa! That's controversial. By the way, he's right. Tom was an investor with Tampa. He wasn't an entrepreneur.
This is The Herd.
And the story out today.
Weekdays 11 to 2, ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been in the Panama City area since 1989. They've been here longer than anyone else. The reasons? High quality, reasonable prices, and tremendous service. Stop by and see owner Jason Mulder and let him and his staff help you pick out the perfect building for your home or business. Just down from Harts Marine on North Highway 231. Online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. Member of the BBB. Bestway Portable Buildings. The best in portable, period.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment. 800-360-0314. 800-360-0314. 800-360-0314. That's 800-360-0314.
Who will be this year's Cinderella? The madness starts March 13th. Listen exclusively on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Have a quick stretch first.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs inside the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back, and it is time for
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. High school sports spotlight.
Big win last night for the Paxton boys basketball team. They defeat Malone 51-49 in an absolute thriller state final game last night. Sophomore Colin Stewart hit the game-winning basket with 2 seconds on the clock. The Bobcats, who are 24-4, advanced to the 1A state title and will take on Bradford this Friday, which is tomorrow. And then former Rutherford High School and Gulf Coast Junior College basketball star Harold Edwards passed away at the age of 70. This was last Friday. He was selected to the All-State team where he played for the Rams. Or when he played for the Rams and graduated from Rutherford in 1970. He was given a scholarship to Gulf Coast, where he played basketball 2 seasons before moving on to play at LSU. Edwards' funeral and celebration of life will be held at New Judson Missionary Baptist Church on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. His family would like to welcome all who knew him to join. And we got some FCSAA state tournament games. Chipola and Northwest Florida men's basketball teams advanced in the tournament to the quarterfinal games, or past the quarterfinal games, to the semifinal games Wednesday. The number 2 seed Indians started with a 74-60 win over number 7 Polk State, and the 3 seed, the Raiders, Northwest Florida State, defeated number 6 seed Eastern Florida 63-59. The PCC foes, Chipola and Northwest Florida, are going to be taking on each other on the state tournament semifinals for tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then we have a big wrestling tournament going on in Mosley's. Valerie Solorio just won the first match of the first ever girls FHSAA state wrestling tournament, and it only took her 7 seconds.
Incredible.
And I'm pretty sure I saw David Mercado's mom post that he won his first match as well. Zane Turnipseed and the North Bay Haven guys, Bear Siegel. Man, just what a wrestling program that they've got going on. The athletics here in Bay County are just absolutely astonishing.
Taking off.
And amazing. Yeah, no doubt. It almost is reminding me of how it was when we were growing up and where our athletics, actually really a little bit before us, our athletics were very strong here in Panama City.
And I know we complain a lot about the growing population of our city, of our town, of our entire area, because the infrastructure doesn't seem to be growing with the population. But I think that this is one of the positives of that, is I think that these families are, like, we're going to get some more prominent athletes in this area. Look at the run the Bay High men's basketball team just went on.
No doubt.
They just killed it, man. They really had a chance to win state. Like, they really did it. And did Arnold win state in soccer again?
They were
finished second.
And Max Preps voted them as the number 1 team in 5A, because last year when they won, they were in 4A. So they went up a whole entire class
and still
finished second to a team that I might add was an all-boys school in Belen Jesuit.
That's incredible, though. So there's your plus side to the growing population in this area.
Couple other updates from Coach Siegel. Mercado won by pin in the first round, and then Derek Williams at 106 pounds from Mosley also won. Thank you so much for the updates, Coach Andy Siegel. We really do appreciate it. Can't wait on the update from Bear. Dude, kid's in 8th grade, and he's in the top 20, I believe, in his weight class in the state of Florida. This is absolutely amazing. Love what we got going on here in Northwest Florida. Let's see, Evan Neal. I knew this, but reading this just kind of blew me out of the water a little bit. It's been, with all of the crazy draft picks that Alabama's had since 2009, right? They haven't had a number 1 overall draft pick since 1948 when Washington selected quarterback and halfback Harry Gilmer. Joe Namath was a first overall draft pick in 65, but it was in the AFL draft by the New York Jets, and then just a few years later, he's calling to win Super Bowl III against the Baltimore Colts. So Evan Neal, who was the offensive tackle, could possibly be vying for that number 1 spot, but it's heavy up there. Thibodeau, which I think has been falling in a lot of people's mock drafts, but Aiden Hutchinson is right up there as well. And then you have another offensive lineman, I believe, from North Carolina State. His name is falling from me right now, but he'll be up there vying for the number 1 overall draft pick as well. Can't wait for it, man.
Hey, go join the Right Sports Group, WRIGHT. Goat of Goats continuing tomorrow here on the Afternoon Underdogs with these guys. You guys will have Adam Goff and Caveman Rick as well, right?
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to have Old School in tomorrow unless he wants to come in just for the Goats of Goats.
I might just stop by for a little bit.
Yeah, come on. I mean, you guys have a very good conversation tomorrow. Leo Messi, LeBron, and then I can't remember the other one right off the top of my head, but Messi LeBron is definitely the one that I'm most interested. Oh, you guys got Bo Jackson, Steph Curry tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you said that earlier, and I get it, though, because you're saying that it would be crazy LeBron James could falter in the first round to Leo. But it's like, then the other matchup is Bo Jackson, which is a what-if Wednesday all by himself.
Yeah.
And then Steph Curry, who can shoot it out of the gym.
Curry changed the game.
He certainly did, man.
Did Bo change the game?
Bo changed sports.
Bo changed sports. Curry
Bo
changed.
knows.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. This one's going to go back and forth, and there's no way that it gets done within a singular segment. In fact, I'm going to have to field calls on this and be like, all right, we're taking new votes.
I just want to say, I've enjoyed Thursdays. I love this. I love this so much. I could get past this.
but this, no doubt. I love my man, old school Kyle Wright. I'm David Hayes. We're out for today. Coach James Hale Show live at you at 7 in the morning. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon.
104.3 ESPN.